Welcome to M Squared TechCast.
It's Matt Roush.
And Mike Brennan.
And you're listening to the M Squared TechCast.
And we have calling in, I think somewhere in Florida, but I'm not sure. We have Gary Erickson, who I think you're the managing partner for Executive Search Partners, right?
Yes, that's correct. And I am in Sarasota, Florida.
Sarasota.
Where the temperature is 65 degrees, I think, today.
Oh,
Ooh.
no.
Cold.
Man, they must be wearing winter coats down there.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's 37 here, so that feels wonderful to us. But you want to talk to us today about IT job hunting and also IT employee hunting.
Well, let me set this up. Actually,
Okay.
Starting this month, Gary is going to be doing a monthly video that will be, what would we end up calling this? Well, Conversations with an Executive IT Recruiter, which is what Gary does, but Gary and his partners. And Gary is a former CIO. Gosh, that was like 15 years ago. You were CIO for whom? I can't even remember anymore.
Vickers, Hoover Universal, and R.L. Polk.
I remember that.
And,
Yep.
and then I started Great Lakes Technologies Group, where Dave Phillips and I worked together.
Oh, okay, that's the connection. He's nodding and smiling. Dave's behind the board here. You can't see him. We should have a camera for the board operator, too, so everyone can see what you look like, Dave. No? Okay.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, what we're going to do every month is, so we're going to start off. He's got a bunch of questions that we're going to ask him. But after that, we're going to invite the folks that view the video to email us questions that they would like Gary to answer. So why don't you take the first question, Matt?
All right. What's the best way to go about?
Yes.
Yeah, before we start this, I was just thinking another way to entitle this might be 10 things an executive recruiter doesn't want you to know. You know, it's like those come-ons that you get on the internet that somebody, and then you click on it, and it's sometimes informative and sometimes not.
Okay, well, we can call it whatever you want, but go ahead and ask the first question there, Matthew.
Yeah, I'm just curious. What is the best way to go about finding an IT job today?
Well, I tell people there's three ways you're going to find a job, and they're not necessarily one's any better than the other, but personal networking, recruiters, and online job postings. And it keeps switching. The online job postings have become, everybody's using them, everybody's applying online, and what has happened is I think we're going to see some changes in the process because many companies are getting 500 to 1,000 applications for every job they post.
Wow.
And it's really, really hard to sort through that number of resumes without just sort of, click on, read the first page, right swipe or left swipe. That's what you do. So you got online job postings, networking, which is still the best thing to do, and recruiters like us.
Okay, and then what are some of the tricks to applying online? Because since everyone's doing it that way, not everyone, but most of the people are doing it that way, what would you advise them to do that makes them stand out from these other 1,000 resumes?
Well, the first thing, so if you can imagine that no matter who it is that's reading your resume, a lot of people will tell me that they think a bot reads their resume and looks for keywords. I don't know too many companies that yet rely on bots for mid-level to senior-level positions. Maybe for a lot of college applicants, or maybe if you're looking for a lot of people in the restaurant. I don't know. I don't want to denigrate any particular industry, but at the more senior level, I think every resume gets read by somebody who knows something about the position. And what they typically do, they don't have time to dissect the resume and figure out if you're a fit. What they look for on the resume, usually on the first page, is do you have the exact experience they're looking for? And exact means industry, title, scope of responsibility, meaning maybe number of people, all right, and global or local, and perhaps in a lot of cases in the IT area, a particular technology. If they don't see that on the first page, then they're going to just, as I said before, left swipe. So what you need to do is you need to customize your resume to the requirements of each position so that people can see on the first page that you look like an exact fit or a 95% fit. A lot of people say, well, how can I move from industry to industry? If when I apply online, all they're doing is looking for people who look just like what they're looking for, and the answer is you don't do it online. You do it through networking, or in some cases through recruiters.
How do you guys operate then? I mean, I know we should probably talk a little bit about you're pretty much a technology, high-level technology recruiter, right?
Yes, we do technology positions at all levels, but mostly what we do are director on up. So right now we've got a vice president of applications development in Southfield, Michigan, a director of applications development in Charlotte, North Carolina, a chief data and analytics officer in Kansas City, a chief information security officer, unless I'm duplicating myself, no, I'm not, in Southfield, Michigan, or New York City, and a director of IT in the Detroit area. Those are the sort of examples of our typical positions.
Okay.
Okay, so what is the job market like today? We keep talking about, we keep hearing about talent shortage and that kind of thing, but if you're getting hundreds of resumes for every job, I mean, it's still obviously in some ways a seller's market as well for these positions.
It's really funny. I think the shortage of it's a good question, because as people say there's a shortage. I think the shortage is more at the individual contributor level. You know, I need a programmer with Ruby on Rails experience in Python, as an example. Right?
So they're like a Dave Phillips kind of guy. No? He's shaking his head.
Yeah. Dave Phillips is a brilliant technologist. Ooh. And probably could do all that stuff in his sleep. But it's exactly that kind of thing. But he's also been successful at building a business too. So
that's true.
At the individual level, I think there's a shortage. But when we post, for example, this chief information security officer role, we probably had 1,200 applicants.
Wow.
Ooh.
Now, let me go back to the previous comment about posting online and people applying online. Of those 1,200 applicants, we probably had maybe 100 who were qualified, and a whole bunch of other people who think we ought to consider them because there's something hidden in their resume that shows they can do the job. So, clearly we can't talk to them. And I'd really like to get back to everybody, and usually do over time. But it's when you get 1,200 resumes, it's really hard to write back and say, hey, we don't think you're a good fit for the following reasons. That I wouldn't sleep, and no recruiter would sleep. I would like to circle back to one other piece of advice, that if you're applying online, the first thing is to make your resume look like you're fit. I'm beginning to push something that I've invented. Excuse me. I'm being a little over the top. I call it the in-resume cover letter. And what I'm suggesting that people do is right under the top part of your resume is usually a professional summary that is no more than maybe the top 8 of your resume. Right under that, put a headline, qualifications for position of whatever it is you're applying for, and then put 4 or 5 dot points that explain why you're an exact fit for that position.
Okay.
Help the recruiter figure out whether you're good or not for that job.
Interesting. I hadn't heard that before.
Well, it's been invented here by Executive Search Partners in Sarasota, Florida.
Okay. Well, you're going to have to trademark that or something, right? Or
yeah, something.
Okay.
In resume cover letter.
Yes, I like it.
And nobody reads cover letters, incidentally. I mean, some people do, but most people just ignore them. And once the resume gets past the recruiter, right, and he passes it on, he usually doesn't pass on the cover letter. He just passes on the resume.
Okay. And getting back to that resume, how long do you recommend it be? Get everything on 1 page or 2 pages or what?
I used to have a fairly rigid answer to this, which is, fresh out of college, 1 page. If you're going for a similar position like project manager to project manager, maybe 2 pages. If you're an executive, 3 to 4 pages. I have seen some really outstanding 1-page executive resumes, and I've seen some really lousy 2-page resumes. So it matters, but I generally recommend that at the senior level, you're going to need 3 to 3.5 pages, with the last half of the page including things like recognitions, awards, presentations, and community activities.
Okay. Shows that you're well balanced or something, right?
What the higher level you get, you're more part of the community of executives, and they're going to want to know you're an all-around capable person, that you have a variety of interests, that you are intelligent, that you're active, that you get stuff done. And usually at that level, people are participating in outside activities also.
Okay.
Okay, so you talked about this a little bit before. I'd like to get a little deeper into it if I could. How do you make the transition from one industry to another?
The best way to do that is if somebody who knows you says, I think that, Gary or Matt or Mike are all, I know they've got great potential. They don't have this industry experience, but I really know them as individuals, and I know they can pick this up quickly. But if you're not a known quantity, it's hard to figure out if you're a fit. And when somebody posts a job online or hires a recruiter, they're going to get more than enough resumes that match exactly. So networking, where a friend will recommend you to somebody else for a position, is the best way to make that transition. Or within the company that you're in, see if the company will allow you to make the transition to another activity.
Okay. Now,
Does that make sense to you all?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Now, you don't have it on your list, but let me ask, how do people find out what jobs are available from you? Do they go to your website? Do you send out a newsletter? Do you send out alerts? How can they sign up? How would they know?
No, we don't send out alerts. We do post them on our website. We also, there's 3 jobs, rotating jobs on LinkedIn that you can look at, and then ZipRecruiter is the other place where we post all the jobs. But the problem with just looking to one recruiter like us is that we're a small company, and there are lots of companies out there looking for lots of people who have lots of jobs available. So I recommend that people go to something like Indeed or ZipRecruiter or LinkedIn or Glassdoor, where you can do a search for jobs that meet your requirements, and then you can set up daily alerts and ask, say, LinkedIn, send me every new job that shows up that looks like the kind of jobs that I'm looking for.
Okay.
And then you can then once you see that job, the first thing you should do is say, do I know anybody at that company that I can get, or do I know somebody who knows somebody at that company so I can be recommended to the hiring manager?
Well, we didn't get through, we've got less than a minute left. We did not get through your list of questions, which means there's a very good reason for people to listen to Conversations with an Executive IT Recruiter.
Oh, very good. Nice segue. I like that.
All right. Gary, could you tell us how people can get a hold of you and your company?
The best way to do it, well, you can go to our website and you can find out both the phone numbers and the email addresses for each of the executive search partners. If you're going in the Charlotte area, you might go to John Murdoch. If you're going to be down in Jacksonville, Florida, you might go to Bill Rogers. If you're down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, you might go to Daryl Miner. Just go to our website, execsearchpartners.com.
Okay.
All right. And once again, Mike, when is this program going to be starting?
Well, right away. This is the launch here. We're going to put the video up, and then in February we'll have Gary back. We're going to probably lock in on a Monday, maybe the last Monday of each month, so that it's predictable for everybody.
Okay. All right, Gary Erickson of Executive Search Partners and his new feature here on the M-Squared TechCast, Conversations with an Executive IT Recruiter. Thanks for being with us.
Thank
you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the time. Have a nice day, too.
All right, thanks. Once again, Gary Erickson, thank you.
Traditional four-year students love Lawrence Technological University's thriving campus life. But LTU has always met non-traditional students' needs, too. Lawrence Tech offers over 100 degree and certificate programs that can get adult students started or back on track. And most of our classes are conveniently offered evenings at our beautiful Southfield campus or online, so you can balance your social, family, and work life even while you power up your career. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.